Managing Your Anxiety at Work Abstract. This article provides practical recommendations for managing workplace anxiety. It begins by defining anxiety and explaining how anxious thinking patterns can negatively impact work performance if left unaddressed. Cognitive strategies are presented to challenge catastrophic thoughts and refocus on facts rather than feelings. Physiological strategies like deep breathing, muscle relaxation, and visualizations aim to reduce physical anxiety symptoms. The role of social and environmental workplace factors in exacerbating or soothing anxiety is also explored. Recommendations target improving communication, feedback, recognition, and boundaries. Finally, the article outlines a personalized daily toolkit of routines for maintaining mental wellness and offers an optimistic message about harnessing one's resilience to overcome anxious challenges. The goal is to empower professionals to effectively manage anxiety and achieve their maximum career potential. As a leadership consultant who has worked closely with organizational executives and teams for over a decade, one of the most common challenges I see in the workplace today is anxiety. As the pace of business accelerates and job demands increase, many professionals feel overwhelmed, stressed, and anxious about meeting expectations at their jobs. However, anxiety does not need to get the better of you or derail your career. With awareness and the right coping strategies, you can effectively manage feelings of unease and stay focused on performing at your best. Today we will explore practical recommendations for how you can get your anxiety under control and thrive in your career. Understanding anxiety. The first step is understanding what exactly anxiety is and how it manifests. Anxiety is a normal human emotion that serves an important evolutionary purpose. It alerts us to perceived threats and motivates us to take adaptive action. Baumeister, Vos, and Funder 2007. However, clinical anxiety disorders occur when feelings of unease are exaggerated or persist long after the triggering event has passed. American Psychiatric Association 2013. Some common physiological symptoms of anxiety include increased heart rate, difficulty concentrating, irritability, and insomnia. Spielberger and Reheiser 2009. Psychologically, anxious thinking is characterized by what-if scenarios and worrying about potential future problems. Borkovec, Alkane, and Behar 2004. For example, an anxious employee may repeatedly think, "What if I miss this deadline? My boss will be so mad and I might get fired." These ruminating thoughts often feel difficult to control. It is also common for anxious individuals to perceive more threats or criticism in their environments than objectively exist, leading them to feel perpetually on edge. Beck, Emery, and Greenberg 1985. Anxious worrying serves an avoidance function by trying to mentally prepare for and problem-solve potential threats. Borkovec, Alkane, and Behar 2004. However, prolonged worrying is counterproductive and actually maintains the anxious state by preventing cognitive and emotional processing of feared outcomes. Wells 2005. The key is learning to manage anxious thoughts and channel worried energy into productive solutions instead of getting stuck in an unhelpful cycle of rumination. Cognitive strategies for managing workplace anxiety. The following cognitive strategies can help anxious employees gain control over worrying thoughts that threaten to derail their productivity and success at work. Challenging catastrophic thinking. When you catch yourself engaging in what-if worrying, take a step back and rationally evaluate the likelihood and impact of your feared scenario. For example, if you worry, "What if I miss this deadline?" Challenge that thought by asking yourself, "How likely is it really that I'll fail to meet the deadline? And if I do, what's the absolute worst thing that could happen? Would I really get fired?" Coming up with realistic alternatives can put anxieties into perspective. Focusing on facts, not feelings. Anxious thoughts are fueled by feelings, not facts. When you feel worried, shift your focus to the tangible realities of your situation rather than intuitive fears. List the facts of what you actually know without adding speculative, what ifs. For example, state the project details, your timeline, and schedule. and your past record of meeting deadlines rather than worrying about imagined failure. Reframing negative self-talk. We often speak to ourselves in harsh, critical ways when anxious that magnify fears and diminish confidence. Catch negative self-talk, e.g. "I'm such an idiot for missing that presentation deadline." And reframe the language into something supportive, realistic and solutions-focused, e.g. "It's okay, everyone makes mistakes, let's problem solve how I can do better next time." Thought stopping. When persistent worrying thoughts recur, try thought stopping. Firmly say to yourself, "Stop," and consciously shift your thinking to something unrelated and positive like an upcoming vacation or project you're excited about. Over time, thought stopping can help break the cycle of rumination. These cognitive strategies draw from cognitive behavioral therapy principles for managing distortions and unhelpful patterns in anxious thinking. Wells 2005. Borkovic, Alkane, and Behar 2004. With regular practice, you can gain more control over anxious thought spirals and their impacts on your self-confidence and job performance. Physiological strategies for managing workplace anxiety in addition to cognitive changes. It is important to address the physiological symptoms of anxiety through practices that promote relaxation and calm the nervous system. As a consultant, I have seen workflows be massively disrupted by employees who are too agitated or depleted to focus. Some effective physiological anti-anxiety strategies include deep breathing exercises. When you notice feeling tense, stressed or jittery at work, stop what you're doing and consciously deep breathe for 5 minutes. Inhale slowly through your nose and exhale even more slowly through your mouth. This simple practice activates your parasympathetic nervous system to counteract fight-or-flight adrenaline responses. Jareth et al. 2015. Progressive muscle relaxation. Take 5 minutes periodically to tense, then relax each major muscle group one by one. From your toes to your facial muscles. Consciously feeling the difference between tension and relaxation trains your body recognize and dissipate stress. This strategy can be especially helpful for employees who experience somatic anxiety symptoms like tension headaches. Carlson and Hall 1993. Guided imagery and visualization. Envision deeply relaxing scenarios while breathing slowly, such as sinking into a warm bath or lying in a grassy field. Imagining vivid sensory details engages a meditation-like state that counters the effects of stress. Carson et al. 2000. Guided meditations are readily available as smartphone apps or online videos. Stay hydrated and fuel your body. Our capacity to manage stress depends greatly on having properly hydrated and nourished bodies. Be sure to drink plenty of water throughout the day and avoid caffeinated or sugary drinks that exacerbate jittery feelings. Eat regular mini-meals of protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs to maintain steady energy levels. Make time for physiological self-care alongside cognitive strategies to holistically improve your ability to handle pressure and demands at work without feeling overwhelmed. Small stress-relieving rituals built into your daily routine go a long way. Social and environmental strategies to decrease workplace anxiety triggers in addition to personal coping skills. It is important to consider how your work environment and social dynamics either fuel or soothe anxiety. As a consultant who advises senior leaders, I emphasize the organizational factors that can support employees' mental well-being and productivity. Some actionable recommendations include: establish open communication norms, foster a culture where employees feel comfortable being upfront about workload concerns and asking for guidance, help before stress builds to problematic levels. Remove stigmas against expressing vulnerability. Provide constructive feedback often. Anxious employees often ruminate about performance in the absence of information. Establish regular check-ins and delivery of timely, supportive feedback to assuage uncertainties. Be generous with praise and acknowledgement. Make sure accomplishment and effort, not just results, are noticed and genuinely appreciated. Recognition decreases anxious perfectionism and feelings of invisibility at work. Encourage healthy boundaries and downtime. Role model and support employees in fully disconnecting from work during non-work hours. Ensure sufficient recovery time between shifts, projects to replenish depleted energy reserves and prevent burnout. Cultivate a psychologically safe space. Foster compassion and discourage cutthroat competition or harsh criticism between colleagues. Employees should feel secure taking risks, asking questions and being imperfect without fear of reprisal or contempt from others. Simple environmental changes like providing relaxation areas, indoor plants, and access to natural light windows have also been correlated with decreased stress levels in various studies. Brinkslimak et al. 2009. Delani 2008. Leaders play an important role as advocates for an organizational culture and workspace that nourishes, rather than taxes, employees' mental health and capacities to handle demanding jobs without crumbling under pressure. Managing anxiety day-to-day, a personal toolkit. While broader changes within an organization are important, the biggest impact comes from having practical personal strategies that can be immediately applied on difficult anxiety days. As someone who has personally struggled with nervousness and rumination throughout demanding seasons of my career, here is the customized toolkit I have developed. Morning routines. Write 3 things I'm grateful for in a daily gratitude journal. Do 10-minute guided meditation or yoga flow. Read inspirational or helpful personal development material. Midday boosts. 5-minute deep breathing break outside or at my desk. Call or text with an encouraging friend for 5 minutes. Drink a glass of water and eat a high-protein mini-meal. Evening self-care. Go for a 30-minute walk while listening to calming music. Do progressive muscle relaxation before bed. Read fiction or a non-work related book. Make healthy dinner and eat without screens on difficult days. Step away from tasks that trigger negative self-talk. Lower standards for perfect and focus on consistent progress. Vent constructively to supportive friends or colleagues. Treat myself with compassion. Everybody has hard times. Having pre-planned strategies equipped me to regain perspective and energy when rumination crept in, without spiraling into overwhelmed states of distress. I encourage customizing your own personal toolkit. The key is catching negative thought patterns early and consistently applying simple practices that fit your lifestyle and preferences for relaxation. Over time, you can master managing anxiety on demand rather than feeling controlled by it. Conclusion: believe in your resilience. Anxiety is a part of human nature, but it does not have to define you or dictate your career potential if you refuse to be defined by difficult emotions. Many highly successful people openly share their private struggles. Proving vulnerability does not equate to weakness. As a consultant who guides clients out of overwhelmed mindsets, I emphasize believing in your inherent strength and adaptive resilience, the ability to not just withstand difficulties but grow wiser from challenges. See anxiety episodes as opportunities to gain confidence in your coping toolkit rather than signs of personal failure. With continued practice applying cognitive, physiological, and social environmental strategies, you will strengthen your capacity to handle demanding work and unforeseen stresses without losing control or spiraling into distress. Maintain compassion for yourself through anxious or inadequate times while simultaneously believing in your ability to bounce back stronger. Remaining stubbornly hopeful plants positive seeds that will blossom over time. You have far more power over your ability to thrive than you may realize. If anxiety threatens to sabotage your hard-earned career success or sense of well-being, commit to implementing the personalized recommendations discussed. With dedicated effort, awareness, and self-compassion, you absolutely can gain dominion over uneasy feelings and unlock your true potential.